Welcome to Kiwi Bred, your weekly insight into the New Zealand thoroughbred breeding industry. On this week's show, we take a look at two sons of Fastnet Rock standing at stud in New Zealand. The first of these is the Wakato stud-based sire, Rock and Pop. Ange Bridson talks to Kiwi Bred about the Group 1 winning entire. And Rock and Pop was the first of two new stallion purchases for Wakato stud this season. When did the process of acquiring him begin?
The process of acquiring Rock and Pop came about after his Group 1 win in the 2000 Guineas. Mark Chittick happened to go down to the stable with one of his part owners, and he took his eye immediately, and the very next day Mark started the deal to get him on board.
How is the ownership made up?
Wakato Stud likes to keep a majority share in the stallions that they stand, so we've got a 60% majority interest. What's really encouraging is that 20% of that shareholding is made up of those people who raced Rock and Pop, the ones that were there when they bought him as a yearling and had that great Group 1 ride with him. And then the other 20% is made up out of loyal clients that Wakato Stud has had over the years and who have been involved with some of our other successful stallions.
We all know Wakato Stud has a pretty tried and true formula for selecting stallions. How did Rock and Pop fit the bill?
Well, yes, they've got a definite selection and conformation, Group 1 racing ability, pedigree is there, but it's just so important for the stud to have that ability to quicken or a turn of foot. And what he showed in the Group 1 2000 Guineas at Riccarton was quite incredible. That day his 600 metre sectional was 33.24, which just left them in his wake.
Here's a run for Rock and Pop, and it cruised through the gap. 200 metres to go. Rock and Pop's gone past in a bandana. Burgundy's gone. Rock and Pop's in front. The filly can't get him in a bandana from Dolario. It's Rock and Pop, and Rock and Pop won the Guineas.
At just his fourth start winning that Guineas, very, very impressive. On individual ability, what made Rock and Pop so special?
What makes him so special for us was that scintillating turn of foot he had that day. It takes a special colt to go down to Riccarton, handle the travel, go down to the races and then perform at their best. And that day he just left his rivals to it.
As a racehorse, he was exceptional as a 3-year-old, taking out the 2000 Guineas. It's fair to say he barely put a foot wrong that campaign.
You're not wrong there. He was a debut winner at 3. He then at start number 4 went on to be a Group 1 winner of the New Zealand 2000 Guineas. And later on that campaign he also won the restricted listed 3-year-old mile, and he performed with real guts and determination in the New Zealand Derby. He was second that day to Silent Achiever, who of course was by O'Reilly, but he lost no admirers that day. It was for him it was on an unsuitable track, but he showed lots of determination to chase that good horse home.
His racing syndicate manager David Ellis said Te Akau's never had a better miler. His win in the Guineas, he said, was the easiest Group 1 win he's ever seen. He commanded respect from some of the best in the business, didn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely did. David Ellis and Te Akau have been in the game for 27 years, so when you get a comment like that, it really is huge praise. David's been involved with some great colts and had them go through to have successful stud careers as well, so we're delighted when good judges like that make those comments.
He spent some time at the stud before the season began. Are you happy with the way he settled into his new duties?
Yeah, we really are. He's a credit to the Te Akau team. When he turned up, he had a reputation as being one of the nicest horses in the stable, a real gentleman, and no, we're into the breeding season now, and he's really going very well. We're very happy.
And John Taipei's got $1 million looks, as we saw when he went under the hammer at Karaka as a yearling. How would you describe the way Rock and Pop's put together?
Rock and Pop's a very strong, powerful, attractive stallion, a very tidy Fastnet Rock. But what we also find very interesting is some of the more old-time breeders, when they come and see him, they actually see a lot of Sir Tristram in him, which comes through his dam Popsy.
Let's talk about his pedigree. What was it about Rock and Pop's breeding that attracted Wakato Stud to the horse?
With respect to his pedigree, on that top line you've got Fastnet Rock, who's one of the hottest stallions in Australasia right now. He's got the 13 Group 1 winners to his credit. There's only 4 Group 1 Fastnet Rock sons at stud, so we're delighted to be able to stand one of those in New Zealand. And when you look at the bottom line of his pedigree, you've got the dual Group 1 winning Sir Tristram Dam Popsy. Now, she was a New Zealand Derby winner, so, you know, when you've got a dual Group 1 winner on the bottom line like that, you've got a great start. But when you add to the fact that that family has been producing black type winners in New Zealand for the past 20 years, you know, it was an obvious choice.
He's one of only 2 Fastnet Rock sons to stand here at stud in New Zealand. How much interest have you had here and across the Tasman from breeders since you announced him?
We've been so pleased with the amount of interest we've had in him. At the moment, he's got that critical 100 mares to him, which gives him a great start and just shows what support there is out there for him. We're only partially through the season now, so he will serve, you know, over that key benchmark. So it just shows you the great support we've had from New Zealand breeders and from Australian breeders. We've got clients from Australia that have mares on the farm, and they've been very happy to support him this year.
Talk about his service fee, $12,000. How was that figure established?
The Chittacks are very mindful of standing a stallion at a fee that gives breeders a great chance to access a stallion with this terrific racetrack record, these beautiful bloodlines, the conformation, the temperament, and be able to get a commercial return when they take him through to the yearling sales or beyond. Now, he's one of 4 Group 1 winning sons of Fastnet Rock at stud in Australasia, and at $12,000 I think he's terrific value. If he had shown some of that black type ability of his in Australia, who knows where he could be right now.